Welcome everybody. Hola, hola to Cafecito Wednesdays, the Empower Power Hour. Want to make sure I can see everybody's notes. This is our kickoff. Excited to be here today and kind of talk with our guests. Just kind of give you some logistics. My name is Sandra Noemi Torres. I am the founder of United Latinas and am happy to be here and do these Empower Wednesdays where we feature women and individuals with a strong message, as well as just have a little cafecito break and just kind of talk and chill and kind of discuss maybe some topics and issues at mind that are going on in the world. So today's topic, once I introduce our member, is going to be on resiliency and um, really on a couple of things that, really heartache, resiliency, and work, right? We have to deal with all of these emotional things that happen in our lives along with work. Sometimes they come together, and we can kind of try to dissect all of that stuff. So I'm happy to introduce our guest for today, Hadassa. I'm gonna bring her up. Welcome, woman. How are you?
I am doing well. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And the topic couldn't be better than what it is right now.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, first introduce yourself. Share a little bit
My
about you, your background.
All right. My name is Hadassa Munoz Rivera. I am originally from Puerto Rico. My I would have to say my message to the world is stay true to yourself. Um, Life is full of ups and downs. All sorts of things will come at you, things that are extremely unexpected, whether it's at work, your health, your finances. It really doesn't matter. That's what life is about. It's about the good and the bad. There's always that contrast. How you navigate within all of that crap, that's what determines your level of resiliency. Um, Sometimes things might be going really, really well, and all of a sudden everything just comes crashing down, and all the messages that you've been putting out there about, yeah, be strong, just keep it up, all of a sudden you find yourself being put to the test. And right now, in this very moment, I have to say that I'm going through one of the most difficult things in my life. But at the same time, there's something inside of me that tells me, hang in there, it's okay, it's going to work out, just hang in there just a little bit, even if it's for the next 30 minutes, and then the next 30 minutes it'll be okay. It's part of being a human being, and it's part of being part of this life.
Yeah, I mean, those are some real talks, like how do we deal with that when things go? There are going to be days where things go chaotic and we just kind of find ourselves lost in the midst of it. Like, what next? What do I do now? How do you find for you that, I mean, you've dealt with things in the past for sure from our previous conversations. How do you find that peace within you that says,
You
I
know,
have, mhm.
lately, I go out for walks, and then I have that conversation within me, like within me. It's like, I am here, I am going through this, but remember this, remember that. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, the fact that you even here today, it's a miracle. So yeah, this is difficult, but you're still here, and there's got to be a reason why you're still here. And maybe a year from now, you'll be able to talk about this and say, hey, I was going through that very difficult situation, I made it through. And there could also be a chance that you don't make it. We don't always make it through. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Yeah,
But it's about staying in the present, and don't let your mind go into this futuristic thinking of doomsday,
yeah,
because you don't know. You really don't know how things are going to transpire even 5 minutes from now.
yeah.
Um, so you just have to stay in the present and just comfort yourself at that moment. And if all you need is just grab a little cup of coffee and just drink it, and that's what's going to give you comfort for 5 minutes, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Zig Ziglar, I was listening to a podcast or something once, and
Hmm.
he was talking about the mindset of dis-ease, right? What takes us from feeling healthy. And then there was a scenario where he was in touch with somebody who was really sick. Nobody could diagnose her. She was going through something. And ultimately it was that what he called stinking thinking. Our thoughts really
Hmm.
depict and create the life that we want. So or that we see in front of us, right? So when
Hmm.
things are bad, sometimes, like, even for myself, it's like, okay, well, I need to reframe my thoughts. I need to stop thinking and harp on the things that I can't control, and
Hmm.
stop thinking about the things that are too difficult for me to even want to entertain, and
Yeah.
focus on the being positive, because the being positive and the being, how you mentioned it, being in the now, but also thinking hopeful, thinking and understanding that it doesn't have to go wrong. I am in control. And there was, what is that? You are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, right? Do you remember that quote?
Yeah.
You are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. And I remember that was on a TV show growing up. It was always a poster on the wall. And and it always stuck with me, because we
Hmm.
are the masters of our fate. We
We
are the
definitely
captains
are.
of our soul. So
Yeah.
when things go wrong, like, it's always like reframing where we are and deciding. For me, it's really a decision. Like, you know what? Things aren't going to be what we paint as perfect all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because what is that? I don't even know. Where do those ideas come from? I always wonder that. Like,
Yeah.
why is that white picket fence like the thing we aspire for? I don't even understand. I don't want a white
So
picket fence.
So the other day I was in a really dark place. I went for a walk, and as I'm walking, I noticed this cute little flower. I'm like, you know what? For the rest of my walk, I'm going to get my phone out and I'm going to take a picture of every little flower I come up to, right? So I just started taking pictures of flowers, and I'm thinking, look at that cute little flower. It's just sitting there. It's not worried about yesterday or tomorrow. It's just it's just being what it is. And then I looked at the trees. I'm like, okay, that tree is just there. All this mess is happening around the environment, right? But the tree is just still. And then I took that message for me as to saying, just be still. Just be still. Be okay with being you. Just, it's okay. You have all these feelings, all these emotions, sadness, whatever, but look at the little flower. It's so pretty.
Hmm.
So it was about shifting my focus, because wherever your focus is, that where the energy goes, right?
Yep.
So I did that. And at the same time, I'm like, the way that I'm dealing with this situation, I'm such a badass compared to how I used to handle things in the past. So I'm thinking, you know what? That was boot camp. It was preparing me for this right now. So yeah, everything I need is inside of me. It's kind of funny though. It's kind of funny. You think things are just going to go fine all the time.
No. Yeah.
That's not reality. Reality is that there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and you just have to learn how to navigate between that.
Yeah, that's interesting, because what do we define as fine, right? Like, when
Yeah.
things go wrong, sometimes they're just our expectation of wanting everything to always go to this standard that we set for
Yeah.
ourselves. But sometimes they take us on a different path that lead us to something more beautiful, and we don't
Yes.
even realize it in the moment. We're like, oh man, it's not going the way that I
Yeah.
wanted it to. Yet it opens something else,
Yeah.
and just being in control of understanding that, right? Understanding that we
Yeah.
are responsible for our thoughts. So because trust me, I know I shared with you, like, with my mother, and losing my mother and having to deal with her with Alzheimer's and stuff, like, that what broke me. Like, when we think about, like, heartbreak, like,
Hmm.
todavía, like, these are things that we carry around, and we work and we manage and we hustle and we do things, but we are carrying sorrow sometimes within us, just with
Yes.
the things that has happened in our lives. And I think that is, the journey of life. Like, sometimes también will go outside and I see the squirrels, and I'm like, that squirrel's not worried about climate change. That
I
squirrel's
did
not
that one
worried
day
about.
with a squirrel. The squirrel spoke to me one day as well. I'm like, okay, what's up with these squirrels?
I love them. I love them. And I try to
Yeah,
feed them.
life is beautiful and it's bittersweet. And that's just the human experience. And the more we embrace that, it's like there's this sadness, but then there's this also beauty about the sadness. I don't know how to better explain it, but it's almost like I'm feeling I'm feeling this, and it's part of being a human being.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation that's happening deep inside of me, almost like if I'm sitting watching through my eyes the world as if it's a movie screen, and it's like, but I'm the one sitting back here in the back of my head on a little chair like a pilot, like, I'm the captain,
Yeah.
right? So when I'm gone and when I transition, I can say I experienced life, gains, losses, joy, sadness, brokenness, love, wholeness, everything. That's the entire package.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful. It doesn't, it's all beautiful because it's called life. From the moment you're born until the moment you're no longer here as who you are today. You may come back, you may not come back. I'm not going to worry about that. But right now, y- you just have to be. You just have to just go through it. It's okay.
Yeah. Create is, I think ultimately, like, I always, as a little girl, I always thought this thought, and it always has helped me throughout life.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen when everything feels like all crap has broken loose, right?
Hmm.
I always think, you know what, like, I'll run through the streets naked, right? Like, because the idea is so crazy that you would never do that if you see your life in front of you, right? If you see hope,
Yeah, yeah.
you would never do that. So I always think, well, what's the worst? Then I'll just go run the streets naked, because who's gonna care at that point? But that puts me back into perspective
Yes.
of, no, like, you
That's
do you,
actually interesting how you pulled humor into it. It's like the humor. It's like when I'm crying, it's like I force myself to look at myself in the mirror.
yeah,
I go, oh, that doesn't look that pretty. I need to stop. So I stop. So yeah, the humor. Um, yeah, don't run down the street naked,
yeah.
Sandra.
No, I wouldn't. Pero por eso, like, if all heck broke loose,
Yeah,
like, what's the worst that could happen, right? So when we think
yeah,
about when bad things happen to us, or the sorrows and the crap that we're dealing with,
yeah,
we think about it in perspective, and we think about what we know about energy and about spirit, and we
yes,
think about, we really kind of start putting those pieces together. We realize, you know what, if I am the master of my fate, it's up to me to decide the thoughts that I want, because I know that negative thoughts creates more negative things in my life.
it's true. They
Positive thoughts
snowball. Yeah,
create more positive things in our life. It is the battle of being human. I always said, is the battle of our own emotions, right? We talk about energy
but
and spirit.
but we are an alchemist as well. We can
Yeah.
turn everything around. It's like we
Amen.
could just, and that's what gives me that awe. It's like I'm in awe as to how I'm able to navigate through this situation, and I'm okay. It's almost magical when I think about it.
Hmm. I think that we are truly resilient, like, to a
Yeah,
very, to probably far beyond what we know we're even capable of, because we've survived everything we've
I
been
agree.
through thus far, right? We're here.
Yeah,
We have eyes to see, and hearts to still love and care, So um resiliency is the nature of what we are. I think that we underestimate ourselves in many moments, where we think, like, oh, this is horrible, this is the worst thing, woe me, the rest of the world is succeeding, the rest of the world is doing great. That's how we
la
lie to
novela,
ourselves. Yeah,
la novela.
everything is perfect over there, but within this, this thing, with me is, okay, oh, woe is me. But we have to, like,
Yeah,
snap out of it and realize, you know what, dang it, I am the creator of my life. And if I know that my positive thoughts create more positive thoughts, how do I take a negative emotion que se está sentando ahí, that I'm carrying this burden of, like, hopelessness, right, in a
yeah,
sense, in our hearts? How do we start shifting that energy and start reminding ourselves that, no, wait a second, like, it's up, if I keep thinking and feeling that
yeah,
sadness, I'm
yeah.
going to perpetuate more sadness. And as comfortable as it may seem, I heard this once, is you're comfortable in your sorrow. Like, we get comfortable with the, no, with the comfortable, what we know is
Well,
familiar to
that
us.
you start wallowing in that
Hmm.
sorrow, and my thing is like you gotta cover it with compassion. You cover it with compassion at that moment as the master of your life. And all of a sudden, everything starts shifting. You got to have compassion towards silly, silly little me. There I go again in this drama, in this novela. Just have compassion. Don't judge yourself. Just, you know what?
Yeah.
Brush it off and move on. It's okay. It all ends up working out. And everything's always working out for me, even when I don't think it's going to work out.
There you go. That's the beautiful lesson of the day for this cafecito. Let's take a look at some of the comments that came in. Feel your feelings for at least 90 seconds to process and allow to feel your feelings is advice I recently received. Paying it forward. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Feel them and then let them go. She's from Puerto Rico too, Karina. Hear you when you share you're going through life-changing moments. Definitely connect. This one's from Facebook. Good morning. We can't see your name. Pero yes, y el drama. Claro. Yeah.
We're so good at that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Se nos olvida que somos los protagonistas. We are the protagonist of the story. So if you are the protagonist of the story and everybody else is just a secondary character, you have control.
Yep. So what now then? So where does that lead you now to what has happened just a couple minutes before this stream happened?
Turn it into a juicy story.
There you go. That's the message.
Yeah.
That's the blessing of the day. Like we have the opportunity to do that at any given moment, despite what we're doing, what we're wallowing in. We have the ability to decide, I'm not going to let this bother me. I'm going to think about those thoughts that are positive, that make me happy, regardless of the fires that are burning all around me. And ¿qué pasa? Those fires would decimate. You forgot they were even there.
Yes.
It's just the way the nature of the beast. So,
yeah.
Yay!
This is awesome.
I love having you.
I feel great. I feel like, just before I start, I'm like, I absolutely feel empowered right now.
Yay! Oh, that's so awesome. Then we got a couple things. It usually works out in unexpected ways. Yes, for sure. Connect with us on LinkedIn. We'll put our links in the chat of this stream. Actually,
I accidentally, because I was in such a funk yesterday, I put my account in hibernation, and I didn't realize that hibernation means I can't go back into my LinkedIn profile until 24 hours later. So you're not going to find me in LinkedIn right now, I don't think. Sorry.
That's hysterical. But you're in there, so in 24 hours you'll be back.
I'm in there.
All right. Yes. Awesome. She always returns when I was 10 years old. I was in a coma for a day and a half, and I am here. Everything else becomes a learning experience and blessings.
Ay, Olga.
For real.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are stories that happen you can't publicize. Exactly. So channeling that alone is hard. So this is why we're doing this stream, Karina. Like, this is why I wanted to start doing these streams, because there are conversations that we're especially as we're aging, we're keeping this to ourselves, and we're handling it ourselves, when we should be understanding that there are other women going through the same things, and other beings, not just women, other, going through the same thing, that we should be there to really be, just be a hand and a heart there to listen and to for one another. Mind shifting and discipline. Yes. And if you are looking to, if you would like to be considered to be a guest, feel free to shoot us an email at hello@unitedlatinas.com, as we will be doing these every single Wednesday. So this is exciting. All right. Well, would you like to share any last thoughts?
I'm just I'm very, very blessed to even be part of this right now. And my heart feels full right now. I felt like hibernating yesterday and crawling under the rock. But today I feel completely different after this conversation. And it just shows me that connectivity with others, it is so valid. I mean, we need to stay connected and reach out to each other.
Yeah.
Gosh, I just saved a bunch of money by not having to go to a therapist.
This is Therapy 101, Cafecito on Wednesdays. This is great. Oh my gosh, it's been awesome having you on. I want to do more of these with you and just
Yeah, por
even
favor.
expand on this conversation even more. I think will be really good and healthy for everybody.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. So for any of you, feel free to connect with us at unitedlatinas.com. We just also launched our shop. If you are not familiar, it's unitedlatinas.com/shop. We have some things from United Latinas, some things from members. If you are a member, you're able to upload any of the things that you have going on for the holidays. So feel free to check that out. Yeah, I'm just excited to have this this space, where people can come and just kind of like get these thoughts out and be part of this conversation. So
Gracias, Sandra. Thank you, everyone.
You got it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Tune in next week for our next Cafecito on Wednesdays, and have a blessed day.
Cuídense.
Cuídense. I'm gonna leave us off with some
freestyle.
Halfway place. Can you hear it? All right, we'll close out with this.
Thank you, Sandra.
You got it.